it's not always clear like when you should walk away, and sometimes there's some people might have walked away and they were like 10 minutes from success, and they will never know. But like you can spend your whole life thinking, oh, I'm that close, only to, and it's like, you spend 5, 10, 15, 20 years thinking tomorrow's going to be the day, everything's going to change tomorrow, and it's like sunk cost fallacy, right? And it's difficult. We've all been there, right? That's almost what the life of a startup founder is. But sometimes you have to go, you know what? That sunk cost fallacy, I've got to walk away. I've got to find the right. And actually, all the statistics bear this out. Like the startup founders that win, it's never their first startup. It's rarely their second startup. It's the third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, whatever, right? And so, how do we as startup founders, and how do we as people who support startup founders get them to that fifth startup as quickly as possible, but in a way that is not just like performative, like, oh, 1 week on startup 1, 1 week on startup 2, 1 week on startup 3. Like, it's like I said earlier in the chat, it's like, how do we get to a position where what's the optimum learning cycle? Like, there's got to be some kind of understanding of like, what does that learning loop look like? When do you know you've learned enough to make a call? And you're never going to make 100% right call, because sometimes you could be like, I think sometimes the worst thing that can ever happen to a startup is they're making $500 a month, or even $2,000 a month.
It's just like chasing the carrot, right?
Because there's just enough there to make you think you've got something. So it's a lot easier if you're like, nobody wants this shit. Like, nobody has zero revenue. Like, that's an easy call to make.